I'm on the phone today. I'm on the phone, Benny. My computer is acting up. Need to reboot.
Oh, so you can't mute him?
Oh, I can mute him.
Oh, no.
I've never used a computer to do it.
Yeah, I'm always on the computer because it's easier for me to mute.
What sort of witchcraft is doing it on a computer? You can't mute me. We've got too much to get through.
Oh, okay, I guess Mr. PV is probably going, oh well, I give up.
Got some, yeah. I'll probably indicate us again. So a little bit of drama.
Just a tad.
Just a tad.
Man,
Yeah.
just another day in Discord.
It is a bit like that, isn't it? Especially when you're talking about topsy-turvy markets and stuff. Are you already back from Dubai? No, mate. I only actually, when I say I just got here, I got here like 5 days ago. Still here for another 16 days. So
wow.
Tons of time here. The reason being is there's obviously a couple of conferences, but ultimately we also have people to meet. We got lots of cool meetings planned. A lot of people are over here for various things, and there's quite a big metaverse representative, but there's also a lot of people that are based in this region that we've been talking to in relation to partnerships, and now we get a chance to sit down with these people face to face and have proper conversations. So, as you know from those conferences, not really the opportune time to sort of have proper meetings. You get a lot of people walk up when you're trying to talk to people and butt into the conversation, and it's not really very formal. So you have to sort of do that. People like who? We've got a couple of pretty exciting ones this week, actually, to be honest. So that'll be good. To do with metaverse related stuff. That's all I can say at this stage. How hot is it? It is actually not bad at all. It's like in the high 20s.
It's hotter here in Malaysia.
Yeah, it's actually much cooler than Vietnam. We were standing out on the balcony the other night, and the winds were blowing hard. It was like you needed a jacket because we're up pretty high. Very, very cool. But you give it another 4 to 6 weeks, and it turns into a dust bowl. So it's definitely the best time of the year now to be here for sure and certain. I'm actually like a bit sad to leave. It's really lovely. Are you involved with the Blockchain Week Oz conference this week also? Yeah, so we do have one or two of our people going to that. Yes, but not obviously not us in Dubai. We're not dialing into it or anything like that. We've got people on the ground there for sure. Rhymes with Kessler and McDonald's, no. But the interesting thing here is that we're talking to, I guess, that the heavier mixes on physical items and a combination of some of the people that are actually building in the metaverse space. Meanwhile, in Dubai, it's actually not that bad at all. It's not that bad at all. I lived in Kuwait for a year, and Kuwait was like one of the hottest places you'll ever go to in the world. It is unbearable. You drive up to a restaurant, open up your car door, and walk the 10 feet in the door. You drive right up to it, and you still sweat. It's ridiculous. Okay, so questions. What are we going to do as well? Piyush, have we got anything cooked up in the kitchen to show?
We do actually. We have an image of our of the backstage tonight, right?
Okay. Good.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yes, you do. Yes, you
I
do.
would let everyone just guess what backstage is.
Yeah, I think you know when things are slow to move, I think going back to the frustrations, it's easy for people to sort of um, get a little bit. It is. It's an interesting industry, right? You've got your money on the line and you're investing in projects that you have faith in and all the rest of it. I think the thing is that um, we've said this a million times, and what we're building is very complicated with lots of different pieces. And I think if you watched Luke's AMA last week, it was a good one because he sort of said when he sort of looked at it from the outside, he was thinking, can't wait to jump in there and help them move things along much faster. And then realised when he jumped in that it was much more complicated and complex than he thought because it's massive, and you can't really have Google as a reference for a lot of this stuff. So I think most people in our given situation would have said this is too hard, let's just focus on one thing. But ultimately, with the way that Web 3.0 is going, it's very obvious that you need a platform of some sort. So this has always been our mission. And like I say, with things on the cusp of being ready, it's getting there. There's nothing you can do to appease that. I guess it's good in a way that the market is the way it is because it should mean that the timings are very good as well. No cog blocking. Okay. Tesla and McDonald's are not real companies. 1st of April. You got anything planned for that, Pete? Gonna wind people up. We'll have to work on
I
that, eh?
don't know. Economic paper. I don't know. Stuff,
that'll be-
spoilers, whatnot.
I get asked about that all the time. Everything's still on track for that. So everything is still on track for you to be able to start getting your game theories ready and all the rest of it. But it'll also give you a lot of clues as to what the direction is and what's happening and what's coming up. Overwatch. There you go. Yeah, so a lot of those pieces coming together, which will obviously be shown. And I think that even in, I'm not going to give away too much, but like I said, you will see a proper very early 1st of April. We get the new art back, and then it will take obviously a couple of days to get that all presentable. But ultimately, without giving away too much, even having a look at something like you'll see tonight will give you a much clearer direction on the overall direction that we're headed. It'll be a much clearer steer on style and all the rest of it. Do you have a policy against employees owning shops in the vault? It's a good question. We've not formally put a process in place or a policy in place, but obviously you have contractual obligations with staff, right? And that is that if anyone is to partake in an outside business, they have to seek permission first because this is their job. So it would be something that would have to be applied for prior. If not, have you thought about it? Because I might look a bit sketchy from the outside, as you could speculate if those owners would be prioritised and then they have earlier info than others. 100%. And the thing is that being very honest about the industry is, pardon me, they haven't had the same type of trading rules yet because it hasn't been regulated, but it's coming for sure. And that is something that every project will start to get tighter on and they run risks on. And we talk to other projects and other projects will say stuff like, yeah, can I get back to you later in the week because we've got a listing coming up in 2 days or 3 days, and people just frivolously throw stuff out there and not think about what they're actually saying. And coming from traditional backgrounds, I always cringe and think to myself, like, you can't just do that. But I think that will change very, very quickly because regulators and stuff will be all over that. But yeah, it doesn't make much sense, Lars. It's not really cricket. Any word from CNBC on when the interview is being Piyush?
There's a Piyush
Uh,
question.
Yeah.
Hi. So these guys were supposed to air it by the end of March, is what they had told us earlier, but they haven't really gotten back with a confirmed date yet. Having said that, we did follow up over the weekend, and we're hoping to hear back from them. They must be waking up now for their Monday, so we're hoping to hear back from them soon. But yeah, we'll keep you guys in the loop.
But we haven't had
Should-
any news to say that it's not going ahead, right?
Not that we've been told yet, but Benny, they had told that they're working on a series of interviews, right? And not
Yes,
just
yes.
one, but building an entire series of stories around the metaverse and how it's going to impact the future. So I'm assuming that's what's taking time. But having said that, we're following up. I'll let you guys know as soon as I hear something.
Thanks, mate. What is happening with the ape coin from Minty? If we've got any plans, we will let you know for sure in certain. Nice, that's what I remembered. Can you say anything about the goal of these meetings you are having? Metaverse bridging marquees for the Vault event holders. Yeah, so the metaverse companies that we're talking to 100% are looking for interoperability. So a couple that I spoke to one on the weekend about interoperability and connecting and what could possibly happen. Some of these conversations are quite deep and they're exploratory conversations. We're saying what we.
Oh, Benny, we're losing you.
Oh no, really?
Okay, you're back.
Okay. Should be really good internet here. What we're finding is that a lot of companies are a lot further behind than we are. And when I say a lot further behind, they've got like some flashy videos out and some really good peaks and stuff like that. But we have a look at what they've actually got and it's like miles and miles and miles away. So one of the encouraging things I will say, not that it's any consolation to you guys at this particular point in time, because the products talk and bullshit walks, but ultimately some of the conversations that I had in the last week were more about how do we tap into the tools that you've got, because that could make our go to market faster. So I don't think people realize how much work's gone into building the pieces that we've got. And technically, I would say it's not an easy feat, Pete, especially for people that are bringing in technical people from scratch.
We brought in technical people from scratch a year ago.
Yeah,
It's
so
not easy.
what I'm saying is those people bringing in technical people right now from scratch to start what we started a year ago are obviously a fair way, and they're only just doing one thing. They've decided that even if they want to build a platform, it's too hard to start from scratch. It's better to just partner with people and see if you can leverage off of their tools. So finishing that question, marquees for the Vault, 100%, yes. And event holders, they're the people that we've been speaking to the most. So a lot of the traditional Web 2.0 types of businesses are looking for what they can do to plug into the metaverse. So they're very, very keen to say, we've got something to do with vision or sound or motion or graphics. How do we plug that into the metaverse? Don't give the tools away, Benny. No. The way we structured is that what we would allow, Madame, is for people to be able to, like, I'll give you something without giving away the farm. So, for example, if someone used a component of the NFT white label platform, they'd pay transaction fees, for example, or maintenance fees. So what we'd always look at doing is allowing people to utilize what we've built, but charging them for it, but not ever having access to, I don't know, Pete, how keen are you to give away source code?
Never.
Of course. It's not an option. So, Madame, that
we'll
won't.
give them access to the tools, and I think internally I've used this analogy quite often, right? I mean, you use Microsoft Word, but you don't have Microsoft Word source code, right?
100%. So I think, Madame, the only way people would get the source code is if they bought the entire farm. It's not happening. What should I be doing with my cog sets right now? Getting ready for anything? Yes. Tend to burn cogs. I think we can elaborate on that, Pete, at a later date.
Yep.
Yes, get them ready. Looking at the current metaverse labeling in the space, metaverses look like they have been built in 1 week. We are still in 1994 compared to the internet, of course. And actually, everybody that we speak to, like the thing that sort of gets up my goat is I see these players come into the space and they spend all their time, effort, and energy on a video, right, or on a trailer, and they put out this epic trailer, and it will get 200,000 views, and everybody's hyping and saying this is just absolutely amazing. And this is the part that I'm proud of the team. The thing is, I'll then speak to their teams and they go, that's all we've got, really. We're just trying to work out how to put that together now and build that. And you look at the components, the colors, the textures, and all the rest of it. This is a huge, massive build and lengthy investment in time, effort, and money that these people are about to undertake. And they're definitely overselling what's possible within the realms of crypto patience timelines. People will give up and leave well and truly before. So unless you're fairly advanced down the timeline, those projects are just going to have to either be slapped together and look nothing like the original proposal, or they will be complete dog shit, which is probably more likely to be the latter. It's not quick, and it's going to be something that's iterative. Even for us, we'll put something out, and like they say, you know what the adage is: if you don't look back and laugh on your first MVP, then you were too late to market. So we know that that's going to be the case for sure and certain for us as well. But the race against the clock for us is to get even if it's a sandbox type of, I don't mean sandbox as in the company, I mean as in a working model for the MVP, then that's what's going to happen. And we've got some really good people now helping to make that happen very quickly. But yes, you're 100% right, mate. Everyone's saying they've got a metaverse, and it's not a 1 week deal. Let me tell you that. Have a designated area for animation companies to make movies like Hollywood, but for animation. Yep, that's a good idea. When first marquee client for the music store, are they already signed? We've actually got a couple of interesting ones for that, Ziggy, in the sense that, do you know in the first quarter how we talked about doing the planetarium? A couple that we're working on now would also see a similar type of assigned building. And those conversations have been going for a long time. What we're getting now is, as I've stated before, is a lot of the partners coming in want to do exclusivity. So they want to be the only people in that field. So that's always the peril of people saying, we'll take a punt and come in early, but you've got to make it that we don't have any competition in there, which is not really in tune with what we're trying to do. But to have a dedicated building that does something in particular, and you can probably join dots, that's potentially a really good thing for us, because it could mean tapping into a new audience, then bringing in crowds, and they're obviously pretty seasoned players in the space and have a lot of stuff to offer. But as far as the music quarter is concerned, I don't know whether it's more so that we're further along in our journey now, or whether it's that more people know about metaverses, but it's getting easier. And as I've said to you before, as far as marquee clients are concerned, but as far as I've said before, I'm much more excited about the projects that are sort of being spawned from and born in the metaverse, because those projects understand the space. They know how fast they have to move and build. They get the technology. They don't need hand holding. I'm really excited about that. Any comment on this, Benny? If you haven't seen it, you must. Yuga Labs has released an impossible hype trailer with Metaverse release in April. They must have been building for years. I've seen it for sure. It's an amazing ad. It's absolutely fantastic. My comments, I don't know enough to know what they've been doing in the background, but all I do with all of that stuff is I go straight to people who build that stuff for a living and say, how long would this take? And they say, depends how big the team is, depends how big the budget is, and all the rest of it. But the one thing that I've learned over the last year or so is it doesn't matter how many bodies you throw at particular things. Certain pieces take certain amounts of time to build. So you might be able to put more polish or add more features or shading, textures, or better shapes, but there's certain things you can't cut corners on. Pete, do you want to comment on that from a technical perspective? Because you understand technical builds and stuff. There's certain things you just can't speed up, really.
Well, building anything, software or metaverses and all that is basically like building a building, right? You need to lay a foundation and then, put in concrete, build walls. And then if you have multiple floors, build the floors. As you're building that, you're putting in your electricity, plumbing, all that stuff. And then finally you come in and roll out the carpets and all that. So each stage has its challenges, and you cannot do one thing without the other. The foundation has to go first, right? You can't build a building without foundation. It has to go first. So it's just that you can't build anything without having proper foundation, proper infra, and all of that. So I always compare building software to building a physical building, a house, multi-story apartment building or whatever. It's the concept is similar. You have to do all that. And if sometimes when you build the wall where the wall is not supposed to be, then you got to break it down. Part of software development as well.
Yeah, and to further add context to that, you've seen a lot of these companies that are saying from Web 2.0, we need to move fast to capitalize on this metaverse movement. So what we're going to do is we're going to start partnering with metaverse companies, as you're seeing now a lot. Now the opposite's happening as well. What's actually happening is people are saying, well, we've put an NFT out or we've got a token and it's got traction. So let's partner with a company who already has games or infrastructure for the building. So they're working in the opposite direction as well to make sure that their metaverse or their blockchain offering is faster to market. We're seeing that a lot. Town called Lara, where's that? When economic model. So as we've stated, we're still on track for this month. The only thing that really needs to be crunched now, again for the 100th time, is that we need to just double check some of the math on the COGS side. But very close. Who benefits the most from the new economic model? VFOX Maxi, RFOX Maxi, COGS Maxi, or which combinations of these three? That is the best question that's been asked for a long time, and the question I've been absolutely hoping that people ask. The answer will be by you guys for sure and certain, but it's a great question. And without sounding too ambiguous, it's going to be this way. Let me tell you the three things I can say about that. So VFOX, they'll get more and more rewards. RFOX will be purchased more and more. COGS will be less and less and less. So which combinations of these three?
You just spoiled it, Benny.
No, I haven't. No, because what I'm going to say is this: as far as combinations of three, we don't even know that, because the way that structure will set up will be completely dependent on what people go. So your strategies will influence which is the best of the three. I think that's fair to say, Pete.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. So when one person thinks that they got the strategy right, then they might be proven wrong by another guy. And it's all you guys.
So going back to now named Lara, the artist formerly known as Lars, pointed out before, what about inside people or staff and all the rest of it? So I've sat down with a couple of the staff that are very, very good at this stuff and literally had some really cool conversations. And we've got absolutely I've got no clear steer. I've looked at this like 100 times, thought about it for months, really nailed down the data for the last month and tried to work out the best way to put this model together. And I couldn't tell you, hand on heart, where I think I would be better situated, because I don't know how you will react to the components. But in my mind, I think I know which path I would, if it was me, I would be going down one path more strongly than the others. But whether I'm right or not, I don't know. You'd suggest that if all things were equal and everyone went as hard at each three components, that I might be right. But the thing is that they never do. And you guys will swing your strategies based on what's happening as well. But I can say this, Pete, without spoiling too much, we are adding new elements on top of those three that aren't even being talked about now. So that makes it an even thicker layer of...
No, yeah, okay. So that one we can definitely not talk about.
Yeah,
But
so...
yes, I mean, that is right. I mean, it's there's this balance, right? And I think in every, in every economic model or, stuff that the mechanism where there's choice, right? Because we're giving people the choice to decide what they want to do. It's not just like, oh, there's only one way, just do it this way. So people will figure out, there will be Excel files, there will be spreadsheets, there will be lots of side conversations. I think the last time around we did staking, not this round, but the previous one, the first staking that we did, there was a new Discord server, I believe, that was formed specifically for that. So this one, I'm pretty sure there will be a Discord server being formed for that as well, for this as well.
So
I wouldn't be surprised.
So I'm going to say this again, Pete, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart. I honestly believe this is the best structure we've brought out for quite a while as far as really shaking things up is concerned. And I think a lot of people will try and copy elements of this for sure. But what I will say to you is, if you don't see it the same way, you probably need to read it again and again and again until you do, because this is a cluster of opportunities. And I'm, like I say, you could actually, depending on your current positions, just sit tight with your current position, whatever that might be, if you've got the right combination or formulation. So the thing is that a couple of things that we have to think about is this. So when we sit down to do this, and if this stuff's not interesting to you, then don't just tell me to fast forward and we won't talk about it. But ultimately, when you sit down to work something like this out, you've got to say, we have to take in a couple of pillars, right? And the pillars are, we have to provide value back to the people that have supported us. That's got to be first and foremost, right? Otherwise, and I know that you guys that have been around for a long time know that, is certainly, I won't speak on everybody's behalf, but I will say that is the philosophy. I definitely think that way, and I know that most of the guys think that way as well. So giving back is very important. We want to make it so that it is also a clear entry point for new people to come into the ecosystem and feel as though they're early enough to be able to still do very well. And then you have to take into consideration all the things that are in your ecosystem. So the three, I'm just going to mention the three that are laid out there, VFOX, RFOX, and COGS. If there isn't an element of value add to each of those three things, then we won't do it. So you think about it. If you've got COGS, RFOX, VFOX, you're bringing everything together in a metaverse, you're trying to make sure that it's a value proposition that will appeal to a wide audience and in different formats and fashions. This is not something that you just go and put 2 lines of text down and say, that looks good, near enough, let's go out with that. Because the repercussions of getting that wrong are huge. The repercussions of getting it right are even huger. So it was, or more huge. It was worth sitting down and putting in a lot of time, effort, and consideration into it. Now, again, some people will say, you should have done more of this for that, or that of this. But ultimately, if you actually take time to break it down and look at it and study it, all of the elements have been considered in some fashion. And a few people will have a penny drop type moment. I'm sure you'll set up servers and to talk about it, and you'll have very, very clear strategies very fast. And my prediction will be that they will change just as fast.
And
That's a
Benny,
fair
that's
bit.
not including the stuff that we talked today that
No.
will precede the economic model.
Correct. So I personally, like, I know you guys well enough, and I know the audience well enough to know that this will be more exciting from a holder's perspective than any of the products that we drop. But the products are the ones that are going to really sort of, they bring in a different user base, right? You guys are, most of you are a different audience than the audience that we target with our products. However, because we're building in the metaverse space, I think we'll have a larger, if you do a Venn diagram of the crossover, I think we'll have a larger cross-section of people that use our products, that we're investors versus those that don't. Like, for example, speaking very honestly and candidly, I've been investing in cryptocurrency for a long time, and I very, very, very rarely use the products of the companies because I'm invested in particular companies because I think they're going to give me a good return, right? So there's very few that I think to myself, wow, I can't wait to use the product when it comes out. Whereas that's why a platform is very different than someone who does fast swapping tool or a cross-chain low fee swapping tool or whatever. Great. But they're very different strategies. Definitely COGS, Benny. Definitely a big component of it for sure. It is exciting, Jesse James, and the funny thing is that it's exciting for if we. I'll be very honest as well about the fact that if we sat down and we didn't get excitement from sitting down and looking at these models, like I know if I pick up the phone to Pete and say, "Hey Pete, I've got an idea for this," and Pete will come back and say, "I've had a look at it. I've got an idea that we can inject in there, or why don't we try that, or why don't we do this?" And it's fun because it's not like we choose something and sort of say, "That's it, it's done." We run it past other people who are equally as passionate about it and making sure that it's, and the great part about it is that if you're having the conversation with the right people, they're saying back to you, I reckon that the audience will love this, or I reckon that our people will love this, or they'll love this aspect. It's not, we never ever have the conversations that we have with other projects where they say it's a very robustly designed economic model that will hold up against X, Y, Z, where they're thinking about how good the actual components of the model are, as opposed to what benefit will be derived from the users and the people that have invested, which is how you should be thinking. Yeah, Adelaire, it's all about the layers. The thing is, I don't think we'll ever bring out something that's just like one line, really simple, doesn't have some sort of element of gamification or isn't a bit complicated. So it will be blending VFOX, RFOX, COGS together. All three are impacted. I don't know if you'd say blending together. I guess it is, in a way, blending together, Pete. They all have a knock-on effect on each other, for sure. Okay, I have RFOX, VFOX, COGS, and a shop. Am I missing anything? Yes, you are. You're missing.
I answered that. Yes.
Oh, yeah, you're missing at least 2 things immediately and about 5 or 6 things very shortly. But if you play your cards right and you've got the wrong combination, mate, here's the last thing I'll be allowed to say before I get shut down, Hopper. By having those things that you've just mentioned above, you don't really need to do anything. You'll get everything. You may
Except
do,
one thing.
except for one thing. You may do a bit of juggling.
Yeah, 2020.
Yeah, you may do a bit of juggling, but you'll get everything else. You might do a bit of rebalancing or something, but you'll get everything. VFox, do I have to order a new t-shirt? 1% raw plus. No, I think everything that we're doing is actually to improve the value of all of those 3 components. So no. Almost had one last night too soon. Kogu, 2 ECT miss. Yep. So Kogu, Madame, all I can say for that is that there is that's an integration plan. 2 ECT, we know what that does. Miss Uni NFT, that's the one that we sort of, that's the only one that we sort of go, yeah. Again, ended up making that for free based on the fact that it's very difficult moving forwards because they lose the rights and access to the contestants straight away. So that one's going to take a lot of creativity and thought, effort, and work to make it really sort of come off. But all of the other things that we're doing should make that easier. Well, I think we've got a model coming together that will allow us to plug lots of stuff into that that doesn't have huge utility at this stage, and that also includes external games or apps or plugins as well. And KML, 100%. I still honestly believe that is the. I mean, I'm sure you got your own ideas, Pete, but I reckon that is at the moment the most underutilized tool that we have.
Yeah, it's underutilized because nobody has apes.
No, but what I'm saying is we can easily flick the switch on that thing and it can
Oh
be a
yeah,
monster.
of course, definitely. I think some of the ones that I don't want to say more. I should just leave it at that. Sorry, I think I overstepped. I will not say anything.
I think that would be like that's still, I still see that as being like one of the more unique things that we have that has a real opportunity to bite and grip and take off for us. So it's a matter of timing, and it is frustrating when you've got something like that. The team have put it together, made it automated, made it work, function smoothly, looks good, and people might say, "Well, what happened to that? What are you doing with that?" The fact is, we don't build that just to say, "Oh, we built it and it works, so let's put it in the cupboard." It's a matter of saying, "How do we build the other stuff that plugs into it that makes it as big as we think it can be?" So this paper makes sense to us as investors. What's to draw new people to buy in? So the new people buying in will, I can't explain it without actually telling you exactly what it is, but the new people, there's a very clear entry point for new people, and that clear entry point allows those new people to join the journey and to receive upcoming stuff just by making that entry now. That's probably the most I can give away. And most of you, if you're degens at all, you would know exactly what I'm talking about. What we're saying is, for all intent and purpose, for a lot of people, they'll see this as the beginning point. But for those people who have been in the ecosystem for some period of time, you're going to see the value of what we're doing now as being 0.6, 7, 8, 9, quite well along the journey. But for a new person coming in, they'll still see it as a early entry point. Okay, right, Myers. Did you say first edition ultra rare gold slammer, bro? You're losing touch. I have a Kogu Miss Uni, sold all my 2EC, did great on that. Just gave away my KML, better replace. like I said, Hopper, KML is, I mean, I know there's a few people in here that have studied it pretty hard and had a look at what it could potentially do. And I know that the feedback from you guys was how come you're not doing more to push it more? How come you're not onboarding more? So again, we didn't want to make a big song and dance about it when we went out with Board Ape, but it was a great test for us. Made sure that Pete and his team were able to automate this process so that they're not continually being bugged every time we release something. So for that to work, you need two sides, right? And I'm going to be very, very honest when I say this, because, and if it offends you in any way, shape, or form, I don't apologize, and it is what it is. It is the truth, right? You need people coming in from both sides of the spectrum. You need your people who are going to spend time playing, grinding, using, testing, battle testing, helping you to scale and grow, and bringing in other people that are of the same inclination. And you also need your other side of the fence, and I'm not using the names to make it a little bit less offensive, but then you need your other side of the spectrum to also make sure that you've got people who are investing because the network and the platform is young or immature, and a result of positioning yourself in the right place at the right time means that you can do very, very well from the adoption that is gained from more and more users coming in. You can't have something work with just one of those two components. And for those of you who have been around for a long time, you might say, well, hang on, we've gone in relatively heavily early. And I'm saying that's why the thing like this economic model makes a lot of sense, because it gives you, for the first time, clear definition and structure over where your vantage point is, why it was advantageous to be early. And that's very, very important. And again, the difficulty, and that's why people that do tokenomics models and all the rest of it get paid $1 squillion a year, which is just ridiculous. They get paid stupid money, is because this stuff isn't easy. And even if it looks good on paper, doesn't mean it will work. We've still got quite a few questions here, but while we're going through those, do you want to start queuing up the sneak peek, Pete?
Oh yeah, I've got that to show. Okay, let me pull that down.
Yeah, more sneak peek coming. Avatars, please. Yes. Soon. I know people don't like the word soon, but the fact is we can't build any faster than we're building without it being rubbish. And we don't want anything to be rubbish. Honest opinion,
Yeah,
super
okay,
unpopular.
I'm ready.
Hang on one sec. Let me just answer this one. Honest opinion, super unpopular in here though. I hope the COGS utility in the vault is not too instrumental, fundamental. Simply because the new people checking out the metaverse might get shaken off if they feel excluded for not owning certain NFTs. 100%. That's the complexity of having so many entry points, right? It's an expansive platform, but ultimately the value will be really. This is the last clue I'm giving you tonight. The value will be really derived from the benefit of other people clicking in to then utilize the things like VFOX, RFOX, and COGS that already exist. All right, Pete, ready when you are. He's doing it.
Okay, this is Piyush's toilet. Please reshare if I can't count, whether there's more than 25 people, but if any of you can't see it, just get somebody to reshare. Gecko.
Yeah, I can't reshare. I'm on mobile today.
Yeah, I can't reshare because I'm sharing it.
Can everybody see? I'm 7 minutes behind, but it's not that far actually. While we're waiting for that,
See, right?
for you guys to have a look.
Whose pig is that?
Who's what? Sorry, mate.
Whose pig is that in the background?
Who's pig? Right, pig.
Yeah, those things go oink oink.
Yeah, I heard pug. Give rewards for opening first edition packs. Alien Worlds did that, and suddenly a massive amount of packs got open. So Gralek, that's a great idea, and that would be perfectly. That would be a perfect initiative when the secondary market volume goes up shortly.
I wonder how many pictures did you send? Is it one or two? Oh, okay. Oh, just one.
Give away first edition packs, yes, please. What are they going for now? What's a first edition starter going for now? I proposed a
Bought
lot
a
of
bunch
ideas.
of pretty cheap. I raised the floor on that one.
Yeah,
I paid
I saw. I got
$400.
400.
Yeah.
Jesus, my God, that'll be a regret soon. A regret sale soon. I proposed a lot of ideas for KML integration with all the ventures. Yes, you did. Curious to see what you guys end up doing. As stated, I think there's also a lot of benefit externally for other projects as well. So this is I think this is much bigger than a lot of people that haven't looked into its view. I have 3 solid KML avatar potentials that we can have conversations with when the time is right. Awesome. Yeah, looking forward to that. And again, Hopper, the time needs to be right. And the thing is, we're not trying to say that we've done everything we need to do and we've completed everything we need to complete. We understand that there's a long way to go, but I also think that we're further progressed than a lot of people think. It's a matter of just plugging those things in together and getting them out. And that's why it's great to have people like Luke here who are really pushing us and saying, I'm chief of product and it's ready when I say it's ready, and we've got X, Y, and Z in place, and it's just wonderful to see the sense of urgency really creeping in. Oh, what did we do for Lebanese food? It was okay. I'm not saying Lebanese food's okay. Lebanese food's great. This particular Lebanese food was okay. Not bad. Sounds like you're close to a one-click credit card payment system to get going with RFOX in the RFOX ID and RFOX ecosystem. And for the honest answer to that is nowhere near it. No one in the industry or space is anywhere near it. But we won't stop until we keep iterating and make it very close to that for sure and certain. And I can't. If I did talk about one of those components, I would get absolutely smashed. So all I'm going to say is, here's a big seed for you. If the infrastructure is required for us to be successful, then we should control it. I know some of you will understand what that means. Benny Bezos, hardly. There's nothing wrong with saying that we have big ambitions, though. There's no doubt about that. We've always had an extremely big. We've always had a very strong belief in the ideas that we've had are the right ideas. And I think only the first part has happened, right? The validation of those ideas. And now people are saying, come on, you guys have been building for ages. You've been around a lot longer than these projects. How come they're moving faster and how come they're doing this? That a lot of it's an optical illusion, right? I could actually say to our team, and this is what I was getting at before and I didn't finish, was I could go to our team and say, drop everything, build ads, make it look like we've got the most amazing thing that anybody's ever seen. It's just fruitless, and it's a waste of time and effort, because what we should be doing is spending all of our time, effort, and resources in finishing the products that we've got, as opposed to trying to trick people into thinking that you've got something that's 50 times better than what you've got. I just don't understand it. I understand why people do it, and I understand what advantage they get from it. But when you can't get anywhere near, and you think about it, those who have been around since 2016, 17 know what I'm talking about. How many of the darling projects are gone? Can anyone remember? And I know we deal with Liquid a lot, but I'm just using that as an example because it was a big one in the region. Can anyone remember that Cash, QASH, raised $120 million. Can anyone remember 3 or 4 of the projects, if you go back, that raised 70 to 100 million that are literally not really trading anymore? And there's projects now raising much bigger amounts than that, 200 million, 250 million. And they are absolutely miles away from being able to actually have anything. Yep, I shouldn't go down that rabbit hole, Humphrey. But because KML can be used for way more than just MidLab, 100%, mate, as it is in principle, and way of giving tiered or restricted access to things. It's a tool a lot of NFT communities should leverage like crazy. 100%, 100%. And I know you've spent time trying to get your head around it and understanding it, and you have got some good ideas, mate. And it's not like they're not being listened to. It's a matter of I want to get to a point where we are encouraging you guys to spend enough time going down the rabbit hole to have enough knowledge of the products and services that we have to be providing suggestions and feedback to us that we say we've got to implement that. What we do hear a lot in these channels, and we understand, and it's a motive, and you want to see things move faster, and some other token went up 900% in a day, and so people come in and say, you know what you need to do? You need to do X, Y, Z. Or this project over here, they put $1 in everyone's wallet and their price went to the moon. The thing is that we've got a longer term plan. We understand what we want to do, but the thing is that if people are prepared to sort of not be reactive and go in and have a look at what we're actually building and what it does and how it works, you'll see that the pieces are there. We've just got to put it together. Lots of COGS stuff. Just wait for the economic model, and then lots of stuff will come to fruition. Nice VIP backstage hangout lounge concept from the concert hall. What did you just share there, Pete? I'll look at that second picture in the recording. If I've offended you with my post, I humbly apologise. I honestly did not think you could read. And from my opinion on that is just say what you mean, say what you think, and say what you mean. And if some people will get their noses out of whack, but you can't please everybody. And if you're trying to please everybody, you're gonna end up pleasing a lot less people. Yesterday, I wanted to show
a little bit along the way, though.
Doesn't hurt to what? Sorry,
to troll them a little bit along the way.
We're no strangers to that. I think we've got that art so subtle now that people don't even know you are trolling them. With Pete's very black and white, though. You can tell with him, can't you? Yesterday, I wanted to show a friend of mine some RFOX content as a first introduction. Need some content to show off visuals, 100%. And that's something that we're continually aware of. And Piyush, being from marketing, will probably cop a lot of crap because that's the number one go-to place of every crypto project in the universe. And the ones that generally have amazing marketing have no products or terrible products. And the ones that have products are generally considered to have terrible to be more terrible from the marketing side. And Piyush is continually on a daily basis yelling out, give me some stuff, guys, give me some stuff, arm me, give me something to go out with. And it's just at that point now where I think that it'll look like, I reckon people by the end of this month or early next month will start sort of jumping up and down and saying, for God's sakes, we want to see stuff. And then Piyush gets a floodgates open and it'll look like we've reacted to that, but it's not a matter of reacting to that. We're in that period right now where we're almost through it, but we've been in that period for a long period of time now where we can't really show you for a multitude of reasons, and now we're just about to come out of that. So it'll look like we've gone from complete what do you call those, hay bales rolling across the deserted highway to why the hell wouldn't have you staged this? It's just the way that the production cycles and the build cycles go. We get a lot of it at once. RFOX is buying a bank so they can have merchant transactions. No. When it comes to transactions and finance stuff, we've said this before, guys, we'd much rather partner with people who do that as their core business, because we don't really want to be have to worry about money licenses and being regulated for payment processing and stuff like that. That's not something that we really have ever had designs on touching. And we've got some good contacts that can help us with that type of stuff. So we'd rather just have other people do that for us. It's not our core business. There's a guy in here that owns one cog and it's a KML, not a bad start. Yeah, that's a fantastic start. I just checked my 2017 alts portfolio. Most of the alts from that time is down 95% plus now. I'm talking 20 plus. 100%, mate. I'll tell you why. I know you've heard this before, but I had a couple of people recently say to me, can you please mention that again? So I'll just say it again. A lot of the projects actually have either good intentions or bad intentions, right? Could go one way or the other, but then you get another divide. You come to a fork in the road, and these projects will say, hey, we've marketed so well. And we talked to one of these projects the other week, and they've done an amazing job of building hype around a couple of ads that they made, and now they're madly scrambling around trying to work out what they can never, ever deliver. Nobody can deliver it yet. So you get to a point where the hype takes off a little bit, money comes in, and you know the nature of this space, people will turn around and say, I can work my ass off for the next 10 years trying to bring this to fruition and risk a payday that I've already got for something that is a gamble that may not come off. I can just walk away right now, loaded, not look back. And the temptation for a lot of those projects is way too big, and they just leave. So I'm not going to bother completing what I started. And that's why, and that might not have been their intention when they started out. But the thing is that's why you've got to look for projects that have built in down markets, been around for a long time. Their teams are growing. They're building multiple products and services. They're transparent. They're accountable. They're showing you that they're still around. They don't disappear for 3 months at a time. You don't hear from them. And that's the hardest part, because you know what? Sometimes for 3 months, you don't have much to show in that particular build period. It's much harder to be transparent, accountable, and front-facing like we are, and have tomatoes thrown at you for people saying, I haven't seen enough in the last 3 months. Other people are moving faster. It would be much easier for us to just bunker underground and say, fuck it, we've got nothing for 3 months. Let's come back and show them after 3 months. So I think that the simple illustration from that story is a lot of people have good intentions, and then they think, hang on, this is a windfall and I haven't really done anything, so why bother doing anything? And that's why I back our team in, because we've done it tough. We've never looked for huge external equity investments and stuff like that. We've just gone about it our own way, and I honestly believe that's the right way to go. There are accounts with RFOX 2020 and nothing else. Yeah, I think, Pete, in the beginning, a couple of people won them, right? And they were around,
Yep.
and they won them in competitions, and then they left. I think there's
Correct.
I think there's at least 2 accounts that haven't ever really transacted anything since the time that they got their RFOX 2020. I actually once rung Wax and said, what's the rules on dormant accounts and stuff? Yeah, that didn't work. That phrase you just said about wanting us to know enough to be able to dig in, etc., is 100%. Yeah, 100. I think that's the truth, Hopper. People that spend time to get to understand what it is we're building and what it is we're doing, they're the ones that make us want to keep building more and keep doing more. And that's why we're always thinking, how can we provide value to the earliest investors? How do we give back? First edition packs going for bargain prices. How much? 431. Jesus.
No one buys
Crazy.
that one. I'm moving my funds around a bit.
That's drug receipts, right?
Yeah, that's drug receipts.
I do love the dirty style of that. Backstage looks like my kind of jam. I think I said today, Hopper. I said because I'll tell you, I'll tell you the inspiration. Now that we're getting closer to releasing what the new world looks like, they're taking direction from the new world to inject into the internal spaces, and that's a much closer look and feel than the first ones that we showed you a couple of weeks back. That's getting much closer now, and the more of those that we show you for the next week or two,
The closer out to the look is, and it's just I put it in vacuum.
Hey, Benny, we lost you.
I was reacting to the
Sounds like a windstorm.
I can hear that as well. That's not coming from me. That's someone else's picking that up.
Yeah, got him.
My wife will hate me for having Benny's face on my chest, but only until VFox is worth 150. Then we better get it to 150 bloody fast. Then, hey.
Yeah, I want to see that.
Trying to create an account and it's asking that I send some wax P. I know. Oh my God. Don't even get me started. It's too late tonight for that.
Mass adoption, yet you're making it a lot more difficult for people to onboard.
It's
Genius.
absolutely all I'm going to say on the subject is it's mind numbing. It hurts my brain. I don't know how you do a weekly session, let alone 3 times a week, plus produced vids on Wednesday, Thursday. I'll tell you why, Hopper, because there's a very simple rule we have. We increase the coverage and exposure when we need to. If we go through down markets or times where accountability is extremely important, we will be much more public facing and we'll make sure that we are not hiding. We're not behind someone's skirt crying we're victims of the market or whatever. The fact is we'll be here and we'll be accountable. We won't always have the answers that you like, but we are always going to be here front and center to answer the tough questions as best we possibly can. And some of them are really tough, and some of the questions we cringe at as well and think, shit, I wish we had a much better answer for these guys, but we just don't sometimes. And if you had the full picture and you had a look at what goes on behind the scenes, you'd be in the same situation as us. And poor people like Piyush, I know that you're here and you're able to defend yourself, mate, but there are certain things and periods where we go through where his team are going to get crushed for absolutely no wrongdoing of their own. But on the same token, his team's also going to get praised to Walhalla when in actual fact there's no actual need for that, or that they haven't done anything special. It's just the market conditions. So you get the good with the bad, but unfortunately the bad lasts for about 10 months every year and the good lasts for about 2. Madame, the fact that you guys are front and center got me into RFOX and has made me stay in RFOX. I'm impressed with how open you are, but you're pretty much unheard for any business. Appreciate it. But we have to. We care about this a lot, Madame. So I've never cared about anything as much in my life. And to find a group of people that actually think the same way is phenomenal. And Pete coming in from the outside, and Piyush obviously joining us more recently, but Pete coming in from the outside, seeing how he bleeds RFOX, I can't put that into words. I have an obligation to be here. We all do. It's been such a long time and I didn't get time to keep up with the RFOX progress. Where are we on the RFOX roadmap? We've got a new roadmap coming out very shortly. And it has to come out before the other roadmap sort of expires. So you can do the math on that if you look at that windstorm. Yes. We're over, guys. So quickly try and answer a couple of quick ones. Have all the shops been auctioned? No, half. Always welcome. Artist, we've had several situations, and I think the team might be winding me up. I know you're looking at the tattoo saying permanent and will always be there. I've had several times where certain people from the team have come up and said, "Hey, we should do a different logo. We should refresh it. We should, or we should change the color of it, or whatever." And I think to myself, "Oh man, what am I gonna?" They're obviously winding me up. But
Benny, Benny,
Yeah.
before we wind you up, sorry, on the color, are you referring to me? Am I the culprit who wants to change the colors every single week?
Yes,
to
you're
some
the one.
different?
no.
You're the one.
No, Piyush.
Uh,
I mean, many people have come to me and said over the course of the time, and to me and Glenn, and over the years, "Hey, have you ever thought about this, or have you ever thought about that?" Most people, thankfully, the one thing you get told all the time is because the logo is very simplistic, right? It's in basic straight shapes and symmetry. No one ever says change the logo. They always say change the color, or what about if we did this or added something to it? So when someone comes in and says, "Hey, we should get a better logo or change the logo," I know that they're winding me up, but yeah, it's still funny. VFox tattoo at $10. I'm thinking of getting one now.
Benny, before you wrap up, I wanted to ask, I'm assuming you're busy on Wednesday evening in back-to-back meetings, right?
We'll be at the conference, yes. So Wednesday we might skip Wednesday. I think would be the logical thing to do because we'll be in the Dubai blockchain conference. Has
I'll be
anyone ever
around
given?
if you guys want to listen to the troll.
Has anyone given I Collect Cogs a pack or something for that? That's fantastic. We're talking $10 RFOX or $10 VFox. What do you think of the tournament cog art? Good. $10 VFox, $10 VFox. All right, I know we're over time, guys, and I know you want to start your DGen hour, so we'll bid you a farewell. Let's aim for back on Friday. Pete said that he'll be around on Wednesday, so are you owning that, Pete?
No, I'm around every day, so no difference to these guys. I mean, the guys who attend Tuesdays and Thursdays, they talk to me as well. So Wednesday is just
Pete,
another day.
You got an All-Star Pete special on Wednesday, and then Friday we'll be back and we'll give you updates on what happened in the conference. We'll also do some more spoilers and stuff for you, and we'll do a giveaway as well. So thank you very much for attending tonight, guys. Really appreciate your time as always. I know that you could choose to be in a number of places, so to spend that with us, we deeply appreciate it, and we are moving as fast as we can to give you something without sacrificing quality. So bear with us, and we are nearly there. Thanks, guys. Have an awesome night. See you Friday.
Thanks, Benny.